Okay, so while everyone is joining, I'll explain what we are going to do today. Is the where we stopped in the last class. We will continue from today. So I think we stopped at at paint bucket. So just as a review, uh, just a recap about the paint bucket. Paint bucket is something. It's like a solid color that you drop on your uh, project window. Now, instead of dropping here, let me make a new empty file. I will go to File, then New, choose any size, Create. I have an empty window. Always make sure whenever you are working on something in Photoshop, don't work on the background layer directly. You can, but it's not recommended. It's always better to make a new layer. So what you need to do, you have to just go to this new layer option. Just have to click the new layer. As soon you will click it, it will create a new empty layer. You can rename it to whatever you want. Maybe I can type here shape, okay, or solid shape, something like that. Once I'm done, let's use this fill bucket here that we studied in the last class. Now what I can do here is that I can take this paint bucket tool. I can choose whatever color I want from here or from here. Maybe I will just go to the yellow color, choose any sort of a yellow mustard color, for example. And if I click on the scene, because this is a new layer, the whole layer will be flooded with that uh, yellow color. However, one thing you can do with this paint bucket tool is that you can make another layer. You can take your marquee tool, this one. If you remember, we studied all these last class. I can make a selection with this. Let me zoom in so you see. And what else I can do? I can take another one, for example, elliptical. Now, last class, I told you that if you will press Shift key on your keyboard, so it will make a additional like selection or marquee to your existing shapes. Like suppose I have my existing shape. My existing shape is this one. Okay. And if I will press Shift key on my keyboard, and then if I will press draw here, something like this, so I will have this whole uh, new shape. Both are connected to each other. This one is connected and this is connected. And you can see that they both are connected to each other. Now, what else I can do here is that I can now, it's on a new layer. So if I will take my paint bucket, change its color to something else, maybe red. And this time, if I will click inside this, it will make a new shape with that filled color. So with the paint bucket, you can fill the marquee selections, the shapes that you make. Other thing I can do is that let me undo this. Instead of dropping the paint bucket inside the selection, let me drop it outside the selection, like in this area. If I will click here, so nothing will happen. Okay, because this is not the part which is selected. This is the only part, so I can only drop it here, not here. So to drop it here, what I can do is that I have to inverse my selection. So I can go to select, inverse. The shortcut is Control Shift I. If I will press Control Shift I or inverse from here, you can now see the dotted line in this area. So now if I will press inside here, nothing will be dropped inside, but it will be dropped outside here because this is the selection right now. Okay, so very interesting shapes you can make with the help of marquee tool and paint bucket. What else I can do? I can take my magnetic lasso tool or lasso tool. Maybe I will take a lasso tool. If my hand is really good and steady, I can draw whatever I want. Okay. Like suppose if I want to draw a silhouette of a person. Okay. So I can just draw like this. Okay. And oops. Draw quickly. Okay. And if I will press shift key, I can draw additional parts here. And now if I will take my paint bucket tool, drop it inside somewhere, you can see that this is dropped inside and it made it this kind of shape. So you can make these shapes easily. What else I can do is that, let me undo this. I can take my polygonal lasso tool and draw something like this, like a star shape. Okay. And then I can drop inside the star shape. So this is how the paint bucket can work. In other different way how it works, the paint bucket tool. Uh, okay, one more thing you can do here is that if you remember, we studied about the eraser tool. We can make the eraser tool softer or harder. So we can go in here, we can change the size, or we can change the softness and hardness of the eraser, or you can use your square bracket, left square bracket, right square bracket to make it bigger or smaller. And to make it softer and harder, you have to press shift key on your keyboard and use the, to make it softer, shift and the left square bracket. And to make it harder, shift and right square bracket. So also with the keyboard you can do. It's always better to do with the keyboard. So I can erase this part. Now you can see there is a hard edge over here. And if I will press shift key and left square bracket, now it is softer. You can see here it is softer. And if I will press here, so you can see that the erasing is soft. So just compare this part to this part. And you can take the polygonal lasso tool. You can delete some part by selecting delete. Okay. So you have to, if you're using polygonal lasso tool or magnetic lasso tool, so you have to close your selection. Like if I want to select this part, now I cannot do anything unless I go back to the point where I started, and you will see there is a small circle on my cursor. That means I'm closing it. This is closed. Now if I can press delete, it will be deleted. This is how you can use your uh, magnetic lasso tool to close these parts. Other thing you can do is that, suppose I will select this one, this one. Now I don't want to close it, but I want to do something else. Maybe I will go here and double click here at this point. If I will double click it here, so automatically this point and this point will be connected. Okay, so I will double click it here. So you can see from here to here, it is automatically connected. So that you can do, like suppose here to here, then double click it. So this point and this point is connected. Now you can delete or. Now, another interesting way that you can use your paint bucket is with the with this tool, like with the images. Okay, like suppose I want like there is a sky. Okay, but I don't want this kind of a sky. I want a dark sky, so I can take my dark color, and on the image itself, whatever color I will click on, okay, based on the tolerance, it will color it up. Okay, like suppose if I will click here, so you can see that based on this tolerance, it had colored it at this part. If the tolerance is less, 5, that means it will be more stricter. It will be more strict. So if I will click here, so only a little portion will be selected and the color will be over there. If I will increase it, maybe 50, now it will be more lenient. So if I will click anywhere, so it will take more value of the color. Even if I will go to 80%, it will be more and more lenient. It will cover the whole area, even some parts of the buildings also. So ideal way to do is that 32, click it, keep on clicking, just like that. Okay. And some parts will be left. Maybe you can take the paint brush tool, smaller size, and paint over. That's all. Okay, so I hope Paint Bucket tool is more clear now. You can use Paint Bucket for different reasons. Now, before going to the your gradient tool, because we have a gradient tool and we have 3D material drop tool. We will not cover 3D material drop tool. It is for the 3D like design. So we are not covering 3D design here, only image editing. So we are we will look into gradient tool. But before doing that, there is a built-in plugin. Let me go and select this, but we'll not cover right now. We'll cover later. Now, one thing I want to explain here is that in this image we have a sky. Now, Photoshop version 2021, the one I'm using right now is 2021 version. Okay. So if I'll show you here the version, this is the version 22 version. Okay, 2021 like 2021 version. Now, in this version, there is a plugin or feature, you can say, in edit, which is called sky replacement. So if you will go to edit, if you have this version, you can open a sky replacement. If you're looking, if there is a sky in your scene, once you do that, you will have a sky replacement option, and automatically, magically, it will replace the sky, the one that you want. And there is a list of different skies. I can choose this sky. This is basically the original one. Okay. I can choose this guy, whatever suits. I can choose that. Even I have this rainbow sort of thing. So you can see magically it like replaces, but you have to make sure choose the one that matches your perspective. This matches my perspective because you can see the like the road is going in this direction, the sky is also going in this direction. There is a perspective. Okay, by perspective I mean the lines, like the follow lines of the vintage point. Okay, so you have to make sure that matches. Okay, otherwise it will not look that realistic. So once you are done, you just have to press OK. And you can see automatically it had made kind of a layers for you. You can close, like it's a collapsible layer. You can collapse it because if you will keep it open, it will take a lot of space. It will not look neat. Usually what I do is that I keep it closed by clicking on this small arrow and then it is closed. Now by perspective, let me tell you again, what do I mean by perspective? Let me make a new layer. So if you will see, change the color. If you will see, the road is going in this direction and here is my vintage point. If you know the vintage point is that where your parallel lines are meeting at one stage. Okay, and then we have here this line, all going in one direction. Okay, so that's what your vintage point of your perspective is. So my sky perspective, my image perspective are matching. That's why this looks much more better than the other skies. Okay, that's all. Now, gradient tool. Now, what is a gradient? Gradient is, you can say, a fill tool like a bucket tool, but it comprises with two different colors. it contains two different colors. Color A, color B. More than two, but not one. Either two or more than two. So let's make a new file here. And let me, but I will make a new layer here. And I will rename it by double clicking all. Now if I will go to the gradient tool, see there is a gradient tool here. And what does the gradient tool do? It gives you two colors. Now here are the different type of gradients. Once you will choose the gradient from here, it is in the paint bucket. So you can choose paint bucket from here, or you can keep it selected and click on gradient tool. You can go to the gradient tool here and you will have your gradient. Now to change the colors, you can click on this stops. These are called stops. This is the first stop. I will click on, and the color is red right now. If I want to keep it red, fine. I will go to the last stop. I will click on this one. I can change its color to maybe yellow. So first stop is here red, like left stop is red, right stop is yellow. So I will just click here. Okay. Now, if you will see on my screen, I have this crosshair, like cursor. I will click over here. Okay. And I will keep my mouse pressed. I will hold my mouse like button, and I will drag it. And you can see there is a blue dot. This blue dot represents the first stop, or you can say the left stop. What was the left stop? Red color. Now I'm going to any end that I want, and I will create the last stop. And what was the last stop? The right stop, yellow. So if I will go and stop over here and leave my mouse left button, so you can see that from red, starting gradually and going in this direction, it changes to yellow. So this is basically your gradient. So I was going in this direction, so you can see that the gradient is going also in this direction. What if I change the direction? Instead of diagonal, if I will make it horizontal, click it here, then click it here. So it will be from here to here. Okay. One more thing is that if you draw any shape or any line, so always it's not straight. Like suppose if I'm making any line here, so you see it's not straight, it's going just like this. If you want to keep any shape, any line uniformed or straight, so you can press shift key on your keyboard. When you press shift key and draw anything with the shift key, it will be always straight. So you can see that it is straight. So I can make a completely 100% straight gradient. Same thing I can do from here. Let's start from here. So here will be my red and here will be my yellow. So I will start from here, shift key, so it will be straight. Go down, leave my mouse and then just shift. So you will see that from red to yellow. Okay, even from here I can do that. Now here will be the red, here will be the yellow. Clear? Okay. Now if I will go to my gradient tool again, and what else I can do is that it's not only two, it's not only limited to two. One thing you can do over here is that you can change the position. Like suppose I don't want like this smoothness between these two color. I want more, I want red to be more dominant. So I can click on the red stop, move it. And you can see that if I'm moving it, the red is becoming more dominant and yellow is becoming less dominant. Okay. So if I will click OK, now if I'll do the same thing, red to yellow. So you can see red is more dominant, yellow is less dominant. Okay. What else I can do is that I can also move yellow. Now, if I will move yellow, you can see both are more dominant, but just see now the blend between these two color is not soft like before. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's move them apart. Let's make them as they were before. See the blend, how smooth it is? Let's draw with this blend right now here. And I will make a new layer and hide this one. I will click this here to hide it. Now after hiding this, I will make again, click on the gradient tool on the top. This time I will move them closer to each other so that the blend is not smoother. Now I will draw the same thing. And this time you can see that. Let me hide and unhide just to show you. This is before moving them like closer to each other. Like this is when your gradient is far apart. So you can see the blend between two color is very smooth. And when you bring them closer, the blend between them becomes very solid, not too smooth. Okay. So you can see red is more is also dominant, yellow is also dominant. So this is how you can change different sort of things inside your gradient. So let me undo all this. I don't want to keep this gradient. Let's go back here. Now, if I will click here, apart. Also, this is the blend. I can move the blend. Okay, so you can also move the blend. Suppose just like this, I want to move it or this. So you can also move the blend. And you can see the location is changing when I'm moving. So 50 means it's exactly in the center. So if I will go to somewhere in the center, it sees 50. 50 means exactly in the center, 50%. What else I can do here is that I can add more colors. I can click here, add a different color, maybe blue. Okay. Let's make the location 25 because between 50, the half of the 50 is 25. So if I will press 25, so automatically this will become in the center of this part here. And I will do same thing here. Put a different color, maybe pink. And this one also, I will make a 75. So 75, 25, and there is a blend here. And you can see if I click here, you can see the blend. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 colors now. Okay. And this is the blend between them. And let's do one thing. Let's add one more in the middle so everything is balanced out. And this one, I will change this color purplish. So you can see 0, 25, 50, 75, 100. So there is a 25% difference between each other. So that means they all are perfectly balanced. Okay. So you can see the locations here. Always keep it balanced, and or it depends on your choice. If you want, you don't have to keep it balanced, but see, this is you don't have to, but for this exercise, I'm keeping them balanced. I'll press OK. Starting from here, it will produce something like this. Or starting from here, it will produce something like this. So you can make your own gradients here. And by the way, there are some pre-made gradients here, very nice gradients. If I will go here, you can see that there are some nice gradients here. Like if you want gradients related to pink, you have all the gradients related to pink. Very nice looking colors. You can make any one of these and drop it like this. And you will have a nice gradient. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's make a poster over here because your next assignment is about the poster. Okay. So let's make a poster about family day out, for example. So I will go here. I will go and take the picture of this family, but I don't want the background. So what I will do here is that I want to remove the background. To remove the background, I don't have removing background option right now. Why? Because this layer is locked. So either I have to unlock this or copy this to a new layer. But better for me is to unlock it by clicking the lock button. As soon as I will click the lock button, it will be unlocked. And if I will go now to the properties, to get the properties, you can go to Windows and you can click on the properties. So you will have the properties. Go to Windows, properties. Now, sometimes properties are not here. Sometimes properties will be somewhere here. So it's okay. It depends on your computer. Now, in the properties, we have option here now available. As soon you will unlock your layer, you will have this option, remove background. I will click on remove background. Now it will automatically remove the background from here. But you can see that the image is not alone. It is masked. So I cannot copy, paste, or put in some other place. Okay. So let's do one thing here. Let's close this gradient. File, new, print, A4, create. I want a background. So I will create a new layer here. Or maybe on this layer, I will do a background. Let's do that. Usually we don't do that, but let's do it. Now I'll make a new layer. Here I will drop the family picture. So I will write here family. Always you rename your layer so you remember what are those. Now I will go to the family picture. Now I cannot bring it here because if I will try to bring it there, okay, like suppose if I will go to edit, sorry, I will go to select all, it will select the whole thing. If I will go to edit and copy, it is copied. Now if I will go back here, let's see if it copies or pastes or not. Edit, paste, see, it will bring the background. So one thing I can do here, simple, I can go here to the properties again, the family, remove the background. That's all. Or what else I can do is that let's delete this or undo it. Okay. Or if you want from here, because from here I cannot do it. It is masked. Because if I will copy, it will not copy the mask. So what I need to do is that I have to right click here. Okay. And then I have one option here. Flatten that like this image. Let's see if this works. Yeah. No. It will remove the background. Oh, it will remove the transparency. So the quickest way is that you have to make another new layer. Once you make new layer, you have to select both layers. To select both layers, you have to press Shift key on your keyboard and then click on this one and this one. Both of them will be selected. Once both of them will be selected, you have to go to layer and you have to use merge layer option. The shortcut is Control E. If I will press merge layers, now there is no mask, they are merged. Now I can go to select all, edit, copy, back here, edit, paste. This way also you can do it. Okay. Now I can remove this part. Okay. Good. Let's make it a little bigger. Control T or free transform. Control T or free transform, you can do it. Now there are two different ways to scale it up. I'm scaling without pressing any key right now, but if I will press Alt on my keyboard, ALT, so it will scale from the center. This is more easier for me to do that because without Alt key, it will go to the sideways or from wherever you're clicking it, doing that. But Alt key will be scaling it from the center. If you're using older version of Photoshop, like 2020 version, 2019 version, then you must press Shift key. But here it will not work the Shift key. It will stretch my image, which is not good. Don't do like this. It will not look good. Always keep this image uniform, like scale, like width and height same. So Alt key, make it this bigger. And once I'm satisfied, I will press this check mark. Okay. And then I can move it up here. And then what else I can do? Let's do one thing. Let's erase this bottom part with a soft eraser. If I will take my eraser brush, eraser here, make it a little bigger. You can see this big. Hardness is 0%. It is not hard. If it is hard, so if I will erase, it will erase like this, which will not look good. So I will go here, turn hardness all the way to 0, or you can press shift left square bracket or right square bracket to adjust your softness. You can see it is 100% soft. Now if I will erase this part with the soft eraser, it will create a fainted sort of a line. Now you can see that I'm not erasing directly on the image, because if I will do, it will delete the whole part. What I will do, I will erase from here, from bottom, where there is no image. Even if I will do from here and then start going up, you can see that it is showing me that this part is erasing. So now I can erase easily instead of directly erasing the image. So I'm not directly erasing the image from this part. Now you can see nice way of doing this. Okay. Now what else I can do here is that let's bring up some more image. Okay. I'm searching on it. Uh, now this image is done. Control T to resize it. And with the Alt key, I will make it bigger so it will size from the center. I will move it. Now you can see this is the layer. I will call it park. Now this is on top of the family, so it doesn't look that good. I want this park to be under the family, behind the family. So I will click, drag, click and drag it down under the family. As soon as I will do that, you can see it is showing me the family image. But as you know, let me hide the family. You know that there is a cut over here in the original image itself. So I will remove this same way I did for the family. So what I will do here is that let me hide the family layer and go to the park layer. Take the same eraser tool using the same technique. I will start erasing from this point where there is no image and start going down, and then start erasing this top part of the image. Okay. If you think you are removing a lot of sky over here, so you can make the brush size little small with the help of left square bracket. Okay. Okay. Now I'm done. Now I can unhide the family and you can see a clear blend. Now I can even move the family picture a little bit down. Okay, if you move down, you can see it is moving, and I don't want this to happen. So what is the shortcut to keep everything straight? Shift key on your keyboard. So if I press shift key on my keyboard and move it down, it will not go left and right. It will keep straight coming down. So I think this much is fine. So if you want to see the whole thing, like suppose if you're zoomed in, simple, you have to right click on your image, fit on screen with the help of zooming tool. Take your zooming tool, the magnifying glass, right click on your image, fit on screen, so it will show you the whole thing. Now I have two images here. Now I can add additional image, or what else I can do? I can go to the park layer, take the eraser tool and make it a little bigger and erase a little part from here, just like this. But it is erasing too much. It's 100% erasing. Why? Because there is a 100% opacity, means 100% erasing. Opacity means the transparency. So if I will erase it, so it will be 100% transparent. Okay, so let me undo this and reduce the opacity to 50%. Okay, make sure your while you're changing this you must change when your eraser is selected. Otherwise, opacity is for brush also, for gradient also, for fill bucket also. If you will change it while you have selected the wrong tool, it will change for the wrong tool. So as you can see, for brush, it is still 100, but for eraser, I changed to 50%. So make sure you are selecting the right brush. Now, if I will start erasing this part, you can see that it is not removing 100%. Still, I can see it a little bit transparent. This is good when you want to type something on your image. Okay. Like suppose I want to type something here on the bottom. So maybe I will erase this part up. Okay. Now, text tool, you all know how to work with the text tool. And I can here, any color I can choose. Okay. Yellow color. And I can write here family day out. And I can, oops, put up. Okay. And what else I can do? I can double click the text. You all know how to write the text. We did it in the last class. This is the all information. It is like the quality is strong. I don't want it to be strong. I want it to be smooth. So I will change it to smooth. There is one more thing here called wrap. If I click here, there are different wrapped style. I will choose arc. So it will look something like this, nicer. Okay. Okay. Take my moving tool, move this down. It is out of the screen. This is too much. So like it's too big. So what I can do, I can double click on my text, reduce its size by clicking here and dragging it. Let's put it in the center. Okay. And then I will write. And I will put it here. Now you can see wherever you write your text, always keep a border here a bit. Here still it is attached to the border. So if I will reduce it and see that, let me do one thing here. Let me show you something here so you will understand what do I mean. Don't worry about this. I'm just showing you. Okay. Now, if you will notice that here I have a border. Okay. I just made a border just to show you. You don't have to make a border. I'm just showing you. What do I mean by this border? You can see there is a space over here. Okay. Between this border, okay, and between this. So there is a space. This space is very necessary if you type any sort of text or any important image. So you can see this part is out of the border, which is not important for me because it's just like, corners. But all the text are inside this border. So at least this much you should have. This is called bleeding actually, because when a person look at any image, automatically he finds it non-breathing or cluttered or unbalanced if there is no space or if there is a lot of space. So there should be a reasonable space. So let me delete. Okay. Now, each of these layers have effect. For example, if I will make a shape, if I will go to my, let's put here, all the text are on the top, images are on the bottom. I will make another layer over the background layer just to show you I will make a small elliptical circle, blue color. So if I will make a circle, you can see that if you're making any shape, it will be ellipse or it will be stretched, or like it will be stretched or it will be squeezed. So if you want to make a perfect circle, so you have to press shift key on your keyboard so it will be uniform. So I will press shift key on my keyboard to make a like perfect circle. But in this case, I don't want a perfect circle. I want an ellipse. So I will do something like this. And you can see I have this ellipse. Okay. And what else I can do here in this text layer that I have, the shape layer I have created, I can apply different sort of effect to it. Okay. Now, one more thing I can do, I can go to edit, transform, okay, and there is a tool called warp. I can choose a warp tool and I can warp it by scaling this just like this. Okay. Totally up to you on the corner. Okay. If you want, you can do also that. So there is a warping option here. If you want to reshape it furthermore. Once you are satisfied, you can click here. And you can apply to any layer. Either it is a park or family image, is it a text? Any layer you can select, double click on this empty area, and you will get effects just like this on your screen. So you can have a bevel effect like this one. You can click on the bevel. You can do some more like settings if you want. I will uncheck it, not right now, I don't want. I can go to stroke. I can have a stroke. I can change the size of the stroke. I can make the stroke inside or outside. So now you can see it is outside. Okay. Then inner shadow you have. You can change the opacity, size of the shadow. Okay. And then you can have, uncheck it, inner glow, satin. All you can check all of them one by one. Okay. You can have drop shadow as well. Okay. And if you go on the styles, you have different styles here. You can choose styles here. So you have different sort of options. These are pre-made styles. Okay. Let me uncheck. Okay. In blending option, what you can do is that suppose I want a stroke, but there is no, but I don't want the fill color. Fill color mean inside color. Right now, if I will go to the stroke option here, okay, let me do one thing. Yeah, if I go to stroke option, and if I will choose not inside, because if I will increase the size, you can see the stroke is inside. I don't want inside, I want outside the box. So I will choose position outside. Now you can see creating outside. But I want the stroke only, not the fill color. So to remove this fill color, I have to reduce the opacity of this fill color. So for that, I have to go to blending options, then advanced blending, fill opacity. So just reduce it. So there is no fill opacity, it's only stroke. You can do different sort of things. Now, if you don't like this stroke color, so you can go back to stroke, change its color to whatever you want. Maybe you can keep it also yellow. Okay. And oops, I think I didn't press. Okay. Now, if you will see this, it is applied. I will just press this arrow, so it will be closed all the layer. Otherwise, what will happen? It will have to a lot of things. I can do the same thing with the family day out this text. I can double click it here. Choose any effect like drop shadow and press OK. And you will notice that you have this drop shadow on your screen. Okay. So this is, you want this much, it is fine. Or you can again double click on effects it will take you back there. Again, you can go to drop shadow and fix it if you don't want. Like suppose if you don't want this size, you can increase the size, you can increase the distance, even size more, opacity less. So whatever you want, you can do that by going back there. So this is how you can work on. Now, in uh, in this option, this is the whole thing about uh, fixing images and these kind of little things. Okay. So far, is everything clear? Okay. Now let's go more further. This is how you can make a poster. Okay. So I hope your second assignment, which is about the creating poster, you can use this technique. I have only used two images, few items, but you will have time, so you can use a lot of different images. You can use a lot of different backgrounds, different fonts, different styles. So let's reopen the family picture. Uh, okay. Now let's go back here to this tools. We are done now with the paint bucket. We are done with the gradient. Now here are some uh, different tools to adjust your image. Blur tool, sharp tool, smudge tool. Let's first see the smudge tool. To demonstrate, I will zoom in by pressing Alt key and using my scroll wheel. Now suppose uh, I want his hair to be a little bit more spiky. Okay. So there is a tool here called smudge tool. Basically, smudge tool is used for drawing. When you're drawing with a pencil, you use the tool to smudge around and those kind of things. So you can take the smudge tool and you can smudge on the image. So what it will do, it will smudge it. Can you see what is happening? This smudging like this. So I can make his hair more spiky, but you can see the artifacts. It's create blur lines. It doesn't look that uh realistic. It doesn't look that good. So don't over exaggerate it. Let me undo this whole thing. So with this smudge tool, I have strength. So I have here different like sort of thing. Finger paintings, when you do with the finger, the painting with the finger, it will give that kind of effect. Sample or layers. What it will do is that if you have more layers, so it will sample from that layer your effect. Okay. I don't want that. I want the strength to be little lower, like 15, 1.5 instead of 50, 50 instead of 50. I will use 1.5. Now the effect will be not that strong. You can see that. So I can still do the same thing without affecting a lot. Okay. So this is how your smudging will work. Basically, it's for drawing when you smudge the gray area or you try to blend uh, shades of the pencil. Okay. So for that purpose, you usually use, but for images, for these kind of purposes, you can also use it. For example, if I want to make his eyebrow a little bit wider, so let me, I can move it up. Okay, from here, I can move it here. Okay. But usually if you overuse it, you will lose the reality. It will not look realistic. Okay. So this is how you will get it. So you can see that this is before and this is after. Okay. Now, apart from the smudge tool, we have here blur tool. Now, blur tool blurs out wherever you uh, hover over or draw over. Like suppose if I feel like her eyebrows are little bit sharp, so I want to make it blurry. I can make the brush a little bit bigger. Strength, if it is 50%, let's make it 100% so that it will be more blur. So now if I will draw over her eyebrow, so you can see her eyebrow is becoming blur. Okay. Now this is a good tool when you are blurring the edges. Okay. For example, let me show you here what do I mean by that. Let's remove the background here. Okay. And I will make a new layer, select both of them and Control E, just like what I did before to merge it so there is no mask. Once I will do this, I will make a new layer now. And on this new layer, let's choose a background here. Let me go on internet to search something. I'm searching. Bear with me. Okay, I got an image. Now I will paste this image on this layer. And Alt here. I will drag and drop it down. So it will like let me make it. Okay. Now, one thing you will notice here is that first of all, like the colors are not matching, but don't worry about that. The main thing that I want, the main thing that I want to explain over here is the edges. If you will notice that the edges here are very sharp. It's not look like it belongs to the background. So the best way to fix this is to blur the edges. To blur the edges, I will take the blur tool, reduce the strength to maybe 50% or maybe 25%. I think 25 will be better, 25%. And I will go to the image itself and only draw on the edges. So you can see that the edges are now blending with the background. So it looks like it is actually on the background. Okay. Before they were too sharp. So when you have something sharper on the edges, it looks like it is being cut and pasted. But if it is blurred a little bit, it blends it. Okay. So very good tool to do that. I think 50 will be much more better because 25 is not giving me quite good result. So it's all about trial and error. First I tried with 25, it wasn't working, so I changed it to 50. So 50 is giving me much more result. So this is how you have to do it. So if you think it's too exaggerated, so lower it down. If you think it is not working fine, it is too uh, too low for you, so you can increase it up. So it's all about trial and error, and you can just do different kind of settings just to check it. Okay, and maybe don't worry about this. I'll go through process. Okay, so this is one way of uh, using the blur tool. Another tool we have is the opposite of blur, sharp. So what I do is that whatever is sharp, like suppose I have sharpened the edges of this his cap. like I have blurred the edge of his cap, but I want to now sharpen it. So I can use the same value that I used to blur it out, 50%. Now I will use the same value, 50%, and sharpen it. I will draw over. So now you can see that it is sharpening those instead of blurring. So sharpen is basically opposite of blur. So now you can see the edges are too sharp. Even if I want to sharp this, I can sharp here. You can see that it's becoming more sharper, more visible, more clear. Okay, so anything you want to make it more visible or clear, you can do that. Like suppose if I believe that I want to make his the like wrinkle lines, fine lines more visible, so I can sharpen it. So I can use the sharp tool here and draw over, and you can see that it is becoming sharper. Okay, like more visible. Usually we don't do that, otherwise the image will not look good. But I'm just demonstrating what the sharpen actually do. So you can see that his features, wherever I sharpen it, it's more now visible. Okay, even his beard is now more. I hope sharpen is more clear to you. Just so you can see, if you compare it with the other images, this looks more sharper. This looks more faded or fainted. Okay. Now here we have other three tools: dodge tool, burn tool, sponge tool. Dodge tool, burn tool, and smudge and dodge, burn, and sponge tool, they were basically used in old style photography when they were then people used to develop their films in a dark room, in the dark room with only red light, so that like there is no light exposed, which will damage your photography process. So there you get the photographers used to use a dodging technique where they make some area of the photograph brighter, or burning where they make some area of the photograph darker. Sponge tool where they want to use the image with the color or without the color, black and white or color. So that is for the sponge. Let's try with the dodge tool. If I will select the dodge tool, I will have exposure value. Right now it is 50%. And there are ranges. Shadows, the darker areas, like the shadow under his eyes, the shadow basically here, or the shadow here, or the shadow here, is basically the shadows. Okay. Midtones, midtone is the skin color or the regular neutral color. Highlights, the color where the light is hitting. Like suppose here the light is hitting on his picture. Let me do one thing here. Close this and reopen this. Okay. So here you can see the shadow. Let me show you where is the shadow. All the dark parts, wherever you have, like this part is the shadow. Okay, part is shadow. Now midtones, neutral parts. This is midtone, midtone. Okay, and here is midtone. Now next is the next in the dodging tool there is highlight. Now what is highlight? Highlight is basically where the light is hitting. This is highlight. Okay, the brighter part. This is the highlight. And eyes, you can see the highlight. Here you can see this is the highlight. Okay, so these are the parts where you have the highlights. So now I hope you have you now all clear what are the ranges. Shadows are the shadows of the images, the darker areas. Midtones, the neutral, the middle areas like the skin tones. Highlights where the lights are falling. So I will choose the midtone here. Okay, let me remove all those things. Okay, I will choose my dodge color. choose the midtone. Exposure is 50. So if I will go to my image, okay, here, and if I start drawing on the midtone areas, like this is the midtone area, you can see that that midtone area is now becoming brighter. And it's not affecting the darker area, it's not affecting the highlight area, it's only affecting the midtone. So this is how I can make that area brighter. Now, if you think that was too bright, what you can do, you can reduce the exposure. If you think it wasn't too bright, you can increase it. Suppose if I increase it more, you can see the result will be more exaggerated, more stronger. But if you think it is too strong, so maybe you can reduce this, maybe 10. And if I will try with a 10, so you can see the result is slight, not too much. So always try to keep result little bit less. For I think 10 is better here, or maybe 20 if you want more, but not too high. Then here's shadow. So I will use shadow, and let's increase it a little bit. And if I will draw over the shadows, like here the shadow, so now you can see only the shadow are affecting. The midtones are not affecting. Thus his skin tone is not affecting. Only the darker area is now affecting. Okay. Now if I will choose the highlights, and if I draw, only the brighter parts are now affected, not the whole image, not the shadow or not the midtone. So same thing I have here, burn. Burn is the opposite of dodge. Dodge makes your area brighter. Burns make your area darker. It also have the midtone, the shadow, and the highlight. So if I will choose the shadow, for example, so whatever is the darker part will become more darker. Okay, so like suppose here, so you can see that is more becoming darker. The shadow are becoming more darker. If I will do the same with the midtone, so now you can see the midtone, the middle area, like his skin tone is becoming now darker. And if I will do the same with the highlights, so you can see the highlight parts are becoming more darker. So you can use this tool if you think in some images, sometimes what happens, some areas are too bright, like this part is too bright. This is the highlight. So I can go to the highlight, choose a value of 10 maybe, draw over here. So if I will draw, you can see that it is becoming neutral, natural. Okay, like suppose, or like, I mean, the light is, it's not darker anymore. So I can remove the highlight part. And maybe I can use midtone a little bit. Oops. Okay. So this is how you can use this tool. The dodge and burn. Punch tool, you have option or either desaturate or saturate. Desaturate if I will use and draw over something, like suppose on his blue shirt here. So what will happen? Right now the value is 50. If I will change it to more hundreds just to show you the result, it is becoming more and more colorless, black and white sort of thing. But if I'm using saturated, if I will use saturate and 100% flow, so it will make that color more brighter, more stronger. So the color now is more stronger. So desaturate, it will make it less stronger. It will become less and less color, colorful. It will become almost black and white. So that's what it will do. Okay, so that's all about it. So here we have next is the pen tool, which is a drawing tool. So you don't have to worry about this one. We'll not cover for this because we are just doing the image editing. Text already we have gone through the first part. Here is the path selection, which we don't want it right now because it's for the path tool for drawing purposes, not for image editing. Shapes, already you know there are different kind of shapes. You can choose any shape you want. You can make a new layer. You can create a shape, like suppose rectangle. But if you want to make a square, press shift key and then drag. It will make a perfect, sorry. So if you press Shift key on your keyboard and draw, so it will make a perfect square, just like this, okay? Without being a rectangle. Same thing, you can use ellipse, draw, it will be ellipse, but if you will draw with the Shift key, it will be perfect circle. So you can draw with this shapes, whatever shapes you want. Hand tool, as I told you before, if you will choose this for, don't choose this one. This is for the touch screen if you want to rotate the screen while you're drawing on a screen. Okay. Uh, if you have a drawing screen, it's for that purpose. For you, this is not recommended. The rotate view. Use only hand tool. So suppose if you're zoomed in and you want to zoom it, move around the image, you can just click, throw it out. It will be moved, and then click and stop. Click and stop. Click and stop, like this. Okay. Even if you're working on any other tool, suppose if I'm brushing with the brush tool, I can brush here. And if I want to move to the other part, maybe to the baby, I don't have to go here. I can simply press a shortcut, which is spacebar, and I will move to the baby. Once I'm on the baby, I will leave my spacebar, and then I can work here. So you can hold the spacebar key at any time, at any spot, and move around, and then you can release the spacebar, and then you can work. So this is the shortcut for this. This is the zooming tool. You can zoom in with the Alt zoom out. Okay. Or I can draw over here, zoom in on her face, or Alt key out. And I can use scrubby zoom. Okay. Scrubby zoom will do this. If I drag and drop, drag it up and down, so it will scrub just like this. Or left to right if you want fast zooming. Okay. But I usually don't use this. And that's all. Okay. So we are done with all the toolbars here that we need to know. Next class, we will cover up some image options, some image adjustment options here. Okay. So any questions so far? Is everything clear? Anyone who have question? Okay, then. So we'll meet in the next class. Uh, Try working on your assignments, projects on time. So I will check them once again. You have like once you will upload them. So we'll meet next week. Till then, take care and keep working on your assignments. Okay. Bye, everyone.